Welcome back to March of Dime, the Stress Master. Thank you all for joining me. Really do appreciate it. Thank you for all your comments, for all your participation in the community. I really do appreciate it. And once again, if you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It helps me, it helps you get notified when we have new videos like the one you're about ready to watch right here on this channel. We cover all kinds of things, and what we're talking about tonight is prelims. So I was actually at the theater for Big, Loud, and Live 18, and I watched it. I actually really liked it. I liked the way they did it. The format was really cool because they actually brought up staff to talk about the show, so it kind of gave you more insight into what the show was about. So it really did help understanding like the thought processes and stuff, and it solidified some things for me about what I thought about the show. But anyway, just a moment ago, I actually started recording and I could not get Drum Corps, the DCI site, to load. It was a server error. So I don't know if it crashed or what. Oops, sorry. I crashed or what, but I could not get onto it. So I was trying to magnify from my phone. It just wasn't working very well. I wasn't happy with it, but I'm glad it's up. So I'm actually going to pull up the scores here in just a second and really kind of break it down a little bit so we can kind of see where everything's at currently. Now, once again, prelims doesn't mean anything. Semis is what really matters because semis is what sets up finals. But prelims is important too. We're going to talk about that. So let's go ahead and share. You guys can see here, Blue Devils with a 97.688. So that they are 3/4 of a point ahead of Carolina Crown. This was a shock to me. I thought for sure Boston, because Boston went on right before Blue Devils, Boston was actually going to be competitive right here. And they're in 4th place. So that was kind of a shock. Blue Coats were really, really good. So I'm not surprised they're here at a 96.688. They're actually 1 point exactly behind the Blue Devils. And then Cadets with a 93.688. And then the Mandarins with a 93.363. So this is their highest placing ever in DCI. I thought the Mandarins were amazing tonight. I still think they need to just push a little bit more with the horn line in certain parts to really get that impact. Kind of the same thing what happened last year. They're kind of reserved. So hopefully they'll allow them to push a little bit, but they're still amazing. They're really great. You can see that they're a solid lead above the Phantom Regiment. And then we have the Cavaliers, 91.788. Their drum line is freaking amazing. Amazing. They're so good. The Corps is good too, don't get me wrong, but their drum line is just on another planet. They're so good this year. I really love their show. I love the way, now that I'm listening to it more and more and more, you hear more Easter eggs of stuff, things that they've played throughout their history, intermixed in with Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So it's kind of cool the way they did it, and I'm really starting to kind of dig in the vibe of what they're doing. So kudos to them. They were so good. Colts, I love their show too. Really good show. Blue Stars, 89.363. So they actually surpassed the Troopers. I have a feeling the Troopers are going to pull ahead a little bit of them. It's only 0.2 of a way. So tomorrow night could be a completely different night. They can move back up into the 10th place. I thought Colts are where they should be. I thought the Blue Stars were really good tonight. I got to say that. They played really well. Seeing the show again, I still don't get their concept. I don't really get it. The core is so good, and the show concept is just kind of so abstract and I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, but okay. And then we have the Blue Knights. They moved into 12th place. Woo! So we have Crossman, Pacific Crest. Pacific Crest, I think they're at 85, so I don't know if they're going to be able to make that transition into the top 12. I hope they can, but they're 1.65 away, but you never know. Tomorrow night's a different night. Let's go down here a little bit into 13th down. So we have Spirit of Atlanta with 84.838. I really love their show. I love Spirit of Atlanta's show. I love the spirit that they have, Spirit of Atlanta. But I love the way they are. You can tell the kids are really, the students, the young adults are really pushing the show. They're really wanting to get better. They're really wanting to, what's the word I'm looking for? Really want to elevate the core is what I'm trying to say. Their show's really cool. I also really love, you guys know I love Pacific Crest show. I love their show too. So you can see they're neck and neck right there. They're really, really close to each other. And it's really interesting because I think from 16 on up, and I think I've said this before, 16 on up, okay, I'm trying to highlight, we're not highlighting. So 16 on up, well, this ain't working for me. So 16 on up here, it's pretty much, I thought at one point it was almost anyone's game. Now this spread's kind of starting to go a little bit. But I mean, it's really Blue Knights or Crossmen, I think, are going to be vying for that 12th spot. And look how high this score is, 89.163 for 11th place. That's really high. The Mandarins got a 90 last year in 10th place. When I was in core, we got 10th place, we scored an 87. Right around 87 something. So that's a pretty high score, and we still have 2 more nights. So are we now in a realm where the scores are going to be really high? I mean, we're going to have 11th place scoring over a 90, which is great. Don't get me wrong. There used to be this huge gap. There used to be a gap between 10th and 9th. And it was like an 87 or an 88, and then a 90 was like 9th or 8th place, or somewhere in there. Now it's moving down. Quality's getting better, so maybe that's why. But anyway, so I'm digressing. I apologize. Music City. I really loved Music City's show too. Really, really good show. But we have Music City and Academy together. I need to watch both of these shows in its entirety again. Because I haven't seen them in a bit. Spartans, you guys know how I feel about Spartans. Really, really good show. Really colorful. Gold with the 79.250. So Spartans is really competitive here. They're 19th place. That's pretty good. Why are we doing? Oh, because they're tied for 17th. I was like, why is there no 18? Because they're tied. All right, so let's move on down. So we have Genesis with the 79.088. Southwind with the 77.438. Jersey Surf with the 76.238. Colombians 76.088, and the Seattle Cascades with the 76.050. And then we have the Battalion, Guardians, River City Rhythm, 7th Regiment, Colt Cadets, Raiders, and Les Stentors. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the recaps. I'm going to try to do it 1 through 4 for each caption, and then 5 through 8, 9 through 12, and then we'll kind of move across. I'm not going to do the lower, unfortunately, right now. It's just way too much for me to go through with 32 cores. We'd be here all night. All right, so let's go ahead and start at the top. So we have Blue Devils, 39.125, and that's in total GE. 39.0, 38.9, 38.425. So pretty consistent. From top to bottom, we have 39.125, pretty darn close to Carolina Crowd. They were very good tonight. So was the Blue Coats. The Blue Coats were really, really good. Their show is out there. My friend says like an acid trip, which kind of is. Which is kind of like last year's too. And the year before, and the year before that, when they did the Beatles and all this other stuff. I think they're amazing. They sound good. Their guard is good. Their horn line's good. I just think maybe the uniform is just a little too much green everywhere. It just kind of blends into the field. Maybe not giving enough distinction. That's just my thoughts on that. Who knows? They could win the whole thing. I don't know. All right, so let's look through 5 through 8. So we have the Cadets, 37.650, and then Mandarins right behind with a 37.275. So very, very close there, and a 36.95 for Phantom, and then Cavaliers with a 36.225. Okay, so now we're going to go down with Colts, Blue Stars, Troopers, and Blue Knights. So 9 through 12, 35.8, 35.5, 35.825. So Troopers in 9th place in this caption. And then 12th place is the Blue Knights. Okay, so visual. Blue Devils, of course, with the 29.450. Second place was a 29.050, and then 29, and then 28.925. So all pretty darn close here. 0.4 of a point. Anybody can take this caption. Blue Devils, 1 color guard. All right, so let's go down to 5 through 8. We have Cadets with the 27.675. Mandarins actually taking 5th place in this caption. 27.9, 27.8. And then 7th place was Cadets, and then 8th place was Cavaliers. So that's cool. And Mandarins were very, very good tonight. They had an amazing show. So Cadets, they're in 7th place in this caption. They were in 5th place in this caption, GE. So that's kind of where it's flip-flopping a little bit, because Mandarins were in 6th, so not very far behind. Very, very close. Oops, sorry, we're going to get 9 through 12. My bad. Okay. And then we come down here. We have Colts, 27 to 26.9. Troopers with 13th place with a 25.8. And then 12th place was Blue Knights. And then a Pacific Crest with the, wow, impressive, 26.1. Interesting. Okay. I can see that. I mean, they have a really good visual program. So let's look at music. So Blue Devils at 29.113. Right underneath 29.050. And then 28.788. And then 28.825. So first, second, third, and fourth. All really, really close, within 0.3 of a point from the Blue Devils. So really, really tight there. And then also down in 5 through 8, we have 28.363. So 5th place. Sixth place here, 28.238. Mandarins in 7th, but it's barely. I mean, look at this. Barely. Everybody's within 0.4 again. So 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then in the 9 through 12, we have 9th place with Troopers, 10th place with the Colts, 11th with Blue Stars, and then actually Crossman got 12th in that caption. All right, so please put in the comments below what you thought if you're at the theater, if you're watching it earlier today, what your thoughts are on the course. I think the course are doing an amazing job. I think they said it was a much shorter season this year. It's only 6 weeks, but everybody really, I think, amped it up and really pushed a lot and got significantly better, like within the last couple of weeks. So I was really impressed. I like the lower course as well. I mean, and I say lower just by, I mean, placement. But I think they're all really cool. They do some really cool stuff. I love Genesis every year. I love their shows. They do some cool stuff. I love Spartans. Some of the other cores I really enjoyed. Spirit of Atlanta, I was super excited to see Spirit, and they did not disappoint. This is my second viewing now that they've cleaned up probably quite a bit and maybe restructured some stuff. The show is really solid. I think if Spirit of Atlanta keeps pushing forward next year, they can be in top 12. Same thing with Pacific Crest. I mean, Pacific Crest, I think they have a really, really good show. Right now, they're sitting in 14th place, but I think they have an opportunity to move forward. So we'll see what happens. I know the real fight right now is for that 12th spot. So Crossman or Blue Knights, who knows? Maybe Pacific Crest will jump up. You just never know from night to night because you have different judges. Just don't know what's going to happen. The top 4, I honestly, the way they did it, they said that they did it by the average, and sometimes they took within groups of 3, so like people were flipped around like in placement. So Boston went on right before Blue Devils, but they ended up getting 4th. So it was just all over the place. I don't know why they do that. They mess with stuff like that. Just put them, like, whatever your place is, that's when you perform. I just don't get why they do the averages and all this stuff, because then it mixes people around, especially 1 through 4 where it's so tight, and 5 through 8 where it's so tight. That can create different perceptions. In Blue Devils, I didn't think this was their best show tonight. I really didn't think it was their best show. I didn't feel the energy like I felt from the other groups. So we'll see what happens tomorrow in finals. There's 3 shows. They still won by quite a good big margin. They won by 7/10 or something like that, 6/10. So it was just kind of interesting because I thought Blue Coats were really good. Crown was really, really good. They were really firing on all cylinders tonight. Boston, I thought, was also really, really cool. I love seeing the show in the theater because you get a much bigger perspective, and it was really cool. Cadets are much better. Mandarins, really good. So we're going to see what's going to happen on all these spaces. Phantom was great. Cavaliers were great. Everybody was great. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Really do appreciate it. Please subscribe if you have not done so. And I will see you guys in the next video, which is going to be very, very soon, probably tomorrow night. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe so you get notified, because I'm going to have another video tomorrow night after semifinals. But thank you for watching. March on.